Hello, minnow people. What a lot of information I'm giving you about everything having anything to do with menopause. Did you ever imagine there was so much to learn? And given the fact that there is so much, can you believe that people don't even talk about it? And can you believe that most of what you do here is completely incorrect? Well, this is why I give you a complete education. It's what you deserve, and I sure hope you use it to manage your menopause your way successfully. So welcome to video number 401. We are still pursuing our big unit on breast cancer, and this is the 46th video in the unit. So as you can see, it is a big topic. Even though so much of what people think they know about it is all wrong. Currently, we are going through all the different things you can do to prevent breast cancer. Last week, I talked about the dietary options for preventing it, and today I'm going to talk about the lifestyle options for preventing it. The lifestyle options for preventing breast cancer are in chapter 30 of my book, and you know that that entire chapter is on breast cancer. Now, as you learned last week, many of your options for preventing breast cancer are related to the risk factors for breast cancer. And there are 3 lifestyle factors for breast cancer over which you have complete control. There they are at the very bottom of this chart of risk factors in blue. They are smoking, sedentary lifestyle, and obesity. So our 3 lifestyle options for preventing breast cancer are being thin, being active, and being a non-smoker, otherwise known as svelte, sporty, and smoke-free. That's me. So if you're a thin, active non-smoker or svelte, sporty, and smoke-free, you decrease your risk for breast cancer. But if you're a fat, inactive smoker or pudgy, passive, and puffy, you increase it. You want to be the 3 S's, not the 3 P's. So let's talk about these things. I like to think of these 2 opposing sides of this as either rejecting breast cancer or attracting breast cancer. Every one of them can either help prevent breast cancer or help induce breast cancer. So we'll start with obesity, also known as being fat or pudgy. Obesity is a completely independent risk factor for breast cancer. This means it is significant all by itself, even if you're sporty and smoke-free. You see, some risk factors are more powerful than others in their ability to increase your risk for breast cancer, and obesity is one of the most powerful ones. Your risk of breast cancer is directly proportional to your degree of obesity. So the fatter you are, the greater your risk. There is a 12% increase in breast cancer risk for each kilogram per meter squared of body mass index, or BMI, increase. As I've taught you multiple times in the past, your body mass index is a measurement of your weight with respect to your height. And while I will not present the actual calculation for it yet again here today, your body mass index is a general measure of your quantity of body fat. Another way to look at this is to consider your waist circumference. For every increase of 1 centimeter of waist circumference, there is a 6% increase in your risk for breast cancer. If you can lose even 10% of your body weight, you will decrease your risk of breast cancer significantly. So obesity attracts breast cancer in every way. There's absolutely nothing at all about it that rejects it. There's another thing about obesity that increases your risk of breast cancer, but indirectly. It has to do with the fact that your breasts at postmenopause consist primarily of fat. Remember this breast model I created ages ago? If you're overweight, the fat in your breasts will increase. And if the fat in your breasts increases, your breasts will be larger. Larger breasts are more difficult to check by self-breast exam or clinical breast exam. And you're more likely to miss an early breast cancer just because there's so much more breast tissue. So the probability of finding a cancer later is greater. And so is the probability of failing to find it at all. Now, obesity does not make detecting early breast cancer on a mammogram more difficult. It's just the two screening techniques that involve palpation that are affected. That makes obesity doubly attractive to breast cancer. So avoiding obesity is definitely a very productive means of avoiding breast cancer. And it also means that maintaining your ideal weight, being svelte, rejects breast cancer. This is something you need to maintain at all times. Gaining and losing weight in a yo-yo manner is not going to prevent breast cancer. What makes the difference is a steady, consistent maintenance of your weight. That's what rejects breast cancer. Next is physical activity, or being sporty. The effect of physical activity on risk of breast cancer has been a topic of many, many studies. And it's an area in which all studies agree. It's rare for all studies to agree on anything. So when they do, it counts for a lot. Many studies have separated pre-menopausal women from post-menopausal women with regard to the effect of physical activity on breast cancer risk. And that's a good thing, because the kind of activity that decreases your risk for breast cancer is quite different for the two. If you're a pre-menopausal woman, vigorous exercise is what decreases your risk for breast cancer. So if you're a competitive athlete or on a lot of athletic teams, you are rejecting breast cancer significantly. And while it has lasting effects even if you stop it, it is most effective when continued. But if you're a postmenopausal woman, any kind of physical activity decreases your risk of breast cancer. You don't have to be super sporty. You can reject breast cancer much more efficiently with just the easygoing kind of exercise. This has to do with the fact that the physiology of your postmenopausal body is completely different from that of your premenopausal body. I always say that menopause creates a whole different animal. This is one of the many reasons that postmenopausal women have so much difficulty getting the help they need from just about any kind of professional. Exercise professionals do not understand that what works for premenopausal women does not work for postmenopausal women. Dietitians and nutritionists do not understand that the metabolism of a postmenopausal woman is much slower than that of a premenopausal woman. This is why I'm making educational products specifically for these professionals. So in postmenopause, moderate exercise for only a few hours each week can decrease your risk of breast cancer by 18%. Of course, if you increase the number of hours you do moderate exercise, you decrease your risk even more. But you never need vigorous exercise. Moderate exercise includes walking, low or no impact activities, yoga, Pilates, and swimming. Just being active rather than actually working out works too. The good news is that you do not have to become an athlete or a gym rat. Just avoid a sedentary lifestyle. Slightly sporty rather than pure passivity is all it takes. You know, our lives have become more and more inactive, and it's just astounding how much activity we've converted into inactivity. But it's also really easy to reverse all that. Just about every activity you do can function to either reject or attract breast cancer. For instance, you can stand instead of sit. You can carry your groceries instead of carting your groceries. You can park far away instead of close by. You can walk instead of ride to the park. You can bike instead of hitchhike. You can shop in a real store instead of shopping online, as long as COVID is not governing things. Heck, sometimes your means of rejecting or attracting breast cancer are right next to one another. And all you have to do is choose the more active one. Like when there are stairs right next to an escalator. Even less active things count, like doing mathematical calculations in your brain instead of on your calculator. And little spurts of activity can erase a lot of inactivity. Just try moving instead of vegging. It really amounts to adopting an active lifestyle instead of settling for an inactive lifestyle. And lastly, we have being a non-smoker or smoke-free. This is another biggie. For purposes of breast cancer, any smoking at all increases your risk. Heavy smoking is defined as 10 or more cigarettes daily. And if you smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, it increases your risk for breast cancer by 4 times. Puffing attracts breast cancer big time. This one just isn't worth it. You know, I know a lot of women who say that they enjoy smoking. Well, I hope they enjoy it enough to enjoy breast cancer, because lung cancer isn't the only risk of smoking. Breast cancer is too. And most women are more afraid of breast cancer than they are of lung cancer. So if you're a smoker, convert your smoking habits into active habits. Sitting has become the new smoking. And that's because being inactive and using technology for all the things we used to do ourselves has served to increase our risk for breast cancer as well as many other diseases. So instead of taking that 10-minute smoking or cigarette break every hour, make it a 10-minute walk. Instead of puckering your lips by smoking, pucker your brain by figuring out math in your head. Find a way to convert your smoking time into sporty time. With these 3 lifestyle options, you can decrease your risk of breast cancer a lot. And in so doing, you can turn attraction of breast cancer into rejection of breast cancer. Unfortunately, despite all the fear of breast cancer, women sometimes fail to connect the dots of these 3 lifestyle choices and their impact on breast cancer. I encounter woman after woman who blame HRT for causing breast cancer as they live their lives as obese, inactive smokers, also known as pudgy, passive puffers. HRT isn't even a risk factor for breast cancer, and yet they blame it while wallowing in a daily existence that definitely places them at high risk for breast cancer. You absolutely have to get your facts straight. And that's what this education is all about. So the simple summary for today is that there are 3 lifestyle options that can greatly decrease your risk and help prevent breast cancer. They include being thin, being active, and being a non-smoker. And with that, we'll go our separate ways until next week. And next week I'll entertain you with some exercise in the next video. Exercise for breast cancer prevention, that is. Don't forget to go to menopausetailor.me if you haven't already scheduled a consultation. A consultation will change your life for the better forever. And don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter as well as to this channel. And I know most people never forget about social media, so you can find me there too on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Stories. Bye!